This is part 73 of my series on my N-gauge model railway project. Previous parts cover the project from its inception through the creation of the baseboard, selection and laying of track, building of scenic items, obtaining rolling stock, etc. The project is ongoing. This part deals with a little train of LMS cattle wagons, which I bought as a job lot on eBay UK. The London, Midland and Scottish Railway is the company on which I focus more than any other, since it is the company my family worked for during the Big Port 4 period. Since I'm modelling pre-nationalisation operations in Britain, especially the Midlands in British N-gauge, and I live in Canada, I mostly have to import my rolling stock from the UK, and much of it comes from eBay UK, so I keep a fairly constant eye on what is on offer there. When I saw this lot of 4 LMS cattle wagons and an LMS brake van offered at a reasonable price, I had little hesitation in clicking buy it now. I have a cattle dock on my layout, built from the ratio kit, see my previous video on that build, and I only had a couple of LMS cattle wagons before this purchase. Also, an extra LMS brake van is always handy, as one way and another I seem to make up quite a lot of goods trains. This is how the wagons arrived in their boxes. Very promptly too. They came via eBay Global Shipping and arrived in my mailbox 5 days after I bought them. The downside of eBay Global Shipping is that they always charge import duties, which added another £10 or so to the cost of this order. But then I've paid more than the combined shipping and import duties on this order together for other shipping methods, and they've taken much longer to come. Here I've taken the lids off the boxes the wagons came in. I guess you'd say these wagons have been weathered. Well, perhaps not the brake van, but even that doesn't appear exactly pristine. I cleared the train I'd been previously running from the tracks and railed up these wagons for a running test. I have to say I wasn't initially very confident, as they looked as if they'd had a lot of handling and some of the couplings looked a bit iffy. Some of the markings on the wagons could perhaps be said to go beyond weathering, but actually I rather like the overall appearance of them. I got the Union Mills Webb goods loco out from the yard to pull the train. This has become one of my favourite freight engines. It runs so well, smoothly and using little power, and it can draw a large train up even the steepest curves on my layout. It also doesn't seem to struggle with the Cato points and crossovers, as some Union Mills locos rather do due to limited clearance below. I'm pleased to say that my fears about the wagons proved misplaced in this case. They ran fine, with absolutely zero instances of decoupling or derailing in my initial running trials and video shooting. I'm sure the smooth running of the Webb goods helped in this respect. An engine that runs jerkily is much more likely to have problems with its train decoupling or derailing. Here the train is drawn up by the ratio cattle dog. Even with such a smooth-running engine as the Webb goods, it's not easy to stop the train with the wagons lined up to the dock precisely as you want them, not with my Cato controllers anyway. These cows in the dock are Woodland Scenics Herefords. I've got some knock brown cows that I may swap in there at some point as well. It's not easy to persuade the cows to stand stably in the dock. You can see that the one at the front left is basically leaning on the fence. Oh well, what can you do? Anyway, as I say, this little train actually ran quite well, so now let's have a look at some running video of it. So here it comes, pulling down from the cattle dock. There, and it's going to go round under the viaduct. I see the viaduct wasn't sitting down properly. You don't notice when you're looking on it from above that there's a gap between the arches and the rails there. I noticed that when I was viewing this video before, and I fixed it up. Coming up the hill, that's the steepest, most sharply curved hill there, but then of course this is a very light train. That Union Mills Webb goods could pull a much bigger train than that up there. And over the viaduct and down the back. Apologies for the fact you can see a giant aeroplane in the background. There's no, that's where I walked past at the end there. There's no backdrop there. That backdrop, on the other hand, is sadly wrinkled. I didn't do a very good job of gluing it, unfortunately. I glued it, the train's going down under the footbridge there through Colville Station, unfortunately. From some angles you don't see those wrinkles, but I'd have to buy a new backdrop and do it all again to get rid of them, unfortunately. There's the train going round by the tunnel with a slightly odd coal mine on top of the tunnel, and you can see that rather awkward hill I created at the back there to hide the TV. And down through Bellston Station, and we've gone the circuit now. We're coming back past the cattle dock again, and we just pull up at the cattle dock for a moment there in case we want to offload a cow or something, or load a cow. That's a little Graham Farish cottage behind us, cows in the field there. And we go around. I didn't show the viaduct this time, but we're going past Uppingham Station, built from, who did make that kit, I forget now. Prototype Models made that kit that Uppingham Station is built from. And back up the curve past Mount Foamy there, and over the viaduct again, and now going down behind scrapped off goods yard, and with the Graham Farish coaling tower and ash plant you can see there, because we're going round by the locomotive yard there. And here with a bit of a close-up going through the middle of Colville Station. That's the Metcalfe card footbridge there we're going under. Various Metcalfe card buildings at the back. I see that ratio loading gauge doesn't look very straight. These are Metcalfe terraced houses, the newer ones, by the little level crossing there that we're going across. And that's a little Metcalfe signal box there. That's Bilston Holt Station with the Settle in Carlisle. That water crane always looks too big for me, although it said it was N-gauge. And here we come finally and pull up at the cattle dock again.